Hello and welcome to Learning New Words training presented by Barking and Dagenham Speech and Language Therapy team. This training will cover what is vocabulary and how does it develop, signs of a limited vocabulary, strategies for home and school, working in groups, and different resources for you to have a look at. So what is vocabulary and how does it develop? Vocabulary is one of the cornerstones of language development. It is all the words a person knows and can use. This spans across the general words we use every day and into the more specific language we use in school subjects or in specific situations. Vocabulary development can be split into two parts: learning new words before starting school, and then learning new words when we're in school. After the first 2 years of life, many children develop a language explosion. The number of new words they can understand and use increases rapidly. As the number of words they know increase, they can start to use longer sentences when talking to others. In Key Stage 1, children continue to learn new words rapidly. The brain begins to organize the words so that they can be easier to access. So they begin to group words into categories such as animals or food. In Key Stage 2, vocabulary starts to become more subject specific. It is felt that children will often need many exposures to new words before they're able to show a good understanding of the new words and be able to use it fully. In Key Stage 3 to 4, young people begin to develop a better understanding of abstract language and their ability to use their vocabulary becomes more creative. So what are some signs of a limited vocabulary? Children can be quieter and use shorter sentences. They may be prone to saying, "I don't know," when asked direct questions. They can use some filler words like or you know. They can struggle to learn to read, or they may talk around a word. They may use non-specific words, so they might say it or that, and may point to an object rather than naming the object. They may struggle to follow instructions, and they can become frustrated at times. The strategies in this section can be used both at home and in school. Many of the strategies can be encouraged in the Key Stage 1 classroom. One of the easiest ways to develop a child's vocabulary is through playing games. So that could be games such as I Spy, I went to the shop and bought, or you can try role play with your child, like using dolls, tea sets, or cars. You could also play sorting games with everyday objects like fruits, animals, and colours. Allow the child to lead in the games and have lots of fun with them. Songs, rhymes, and music allow the child to engage with language using all their senses, and this can help them learn and remember the words more quickly than if they've been taught the words while sitting at a desk. Reading opens up a world of new information and adventures, often expanding a child's world to new and exciting experiences. When reading to children, we're giving them undivided attention and encouraging them to explore words with us. Reading does not need to be strictly limited to the words on the page. Use the pictures as well. Talk about the pictures and everything you can see. For more ideas of what can be focused on when looking at pictures, please see the Colourful Semantics training. Let your child try and tell you the story and read the story and discuss what happens in the story. Exposure to daily language is important for all children. If, as a family, you can sit together for dinner and have some uninterrupted talking time, this can help with the development of vocabulary. You could also try talking about what you see when you're on a walk or talking about what they're doing during play. Try asking open-ended questions to avoid like yes or no answers. So ask, how was your day, rather than did you have a good day? Add extra information when you're talking. So you could say, look at that big bird flying high, rather than look at the bird. Or you can add information to your child's sentences when you answer your questions, when they answer your questions. So repeat what they've said with something extra. So when your child says, I saw the dog, you could say, yes, you saw the big brown dog. So here are some strategies for school. Try exploring the meanings of words in a multi-sensory activity. This can help a child or young person to learn a word more comprehensively. So you can talk about what is it, where do you find it, find a word meaning the same, what does it look, feel, or smell like, an example of a word in a sentence, or any other word meanings the word has. So for example, for the word flower, you can see it, so take the child into the garden and let them see the flowers and smell them. Show it and let the child write it. Let the child write it in many different formats. You could write it in sand, shaving foam, on a blackboard, or using letters from a magazine. Say it and try and use the word very often through the lesson. So that provides an emphasis on the word that's being focused on. Try putting the words into a sentence, or asking the child to put the words into a sentence and talking about the meanings of words. You can also explore words using sounds. So when we learn a new word, we learn the meanings and sounds. It can be helpful if you help the child or young person to learn and explore the speech sounds involved with a word. You can think about what the word starts with, what words begin with the same sounds, what are some rhyming words, and how many syllables does the sound have. So for example, for the word tower, have a think about sound games that give children the opportunity to develop phonological awareness skills. So you could try clapping syllables and putting words into a feely bag, and then getting the child to clap out the syllable of the object they find. You can try matching rhymes or identifying the first sound of the word. You could also try some games with alliteration, so words beginning with the same sound. So things like bingo games or the odd one out, or asking the child to put their hands on their nose when they hear the sounds. Word maps are a great way to explore the sounds and meanings of words in a visual way. So you could explore rhymes, syllables, where, when, or what group the word belongs to, and try to encourage the child to explain what the word means in their own words. Categorisation, so putting words into groups, can help children and young people understand, remember, and retrieve words more effectively. This is a great way to build and expand vocabulary. When young people put words into groups, they can associate the words with different words in the same category. When the young person cannot remember the specific word, they can use more than one way to describe the word. So a dolphin is a sea animal. Word maps are a good way of visually representing words in different categories. And a word wall can be used in a classroom, the corridor in schools, or even at home to provide more exposure to words you've learned in class. Also think about talking about word families. So prefixes such as un at the beginning of a word, or suffixes such as full at the end of a word, can help young people figure out meanings of words and learn new words. For example, changing the suffixes can create different meanings. So helpful can be helpless or helper by adding a suffix. Or you could change helpful to unhelpful by adding a prefix. Once young people have learned what the prefixes or suffixes mean, they can break down a long word, and this will help them to understand the word. Working in groups. For more information on how to set groups up, please watch Training 1B, Strategies for Working on Targets for Children with Speech, Language and Communication Needs. This training will support you to identify target areas to work on, alongside adapting and stepping up and down targets. Putting children and young people into groups is a great way to help develop their vocabulary skills. Working in groups means that curriculum vocabulary can be targeted. You can closely monitor progress and adjust the pace. It creates a safe, bully-free zone to learn new words and concepts. And smaller groups allow quieter children to have the chance for their voices to be heard. You can run different types of groups depending on the needs of the children you've placed together. So one group could be the word learning skills groups. These are for children who require support to develop the basic skills for word learning. A small number of children per group works best for these groups. Children do not have to be in the same year, but must all have difficulties with the foundations of word learning. These children are likely to have significant language learning needs. Groups can focus on different aspects of word learning skills. So phonological awareness might be how many syllables are in the word, rhyming, identifying words which begin with the same sounds, understanding word structures, prefixes and suffixes, plural versus singular words. Understanding word types could be something like nouns versus adjectives. And categorisation, so sorting words into groups. And so we've already given some examples of different ways you can work on these skills. A different type of group would be a pre-teaching vocabulary group. This gives children opportunities to explore a new word or specific vocabulary before this is used in class. And the same year group targets the same curriculum vocabulary. These groups support a range of children with vocabulary difficulties, and you can use these groups to create a personal dictionary for each child. Pre-teaching vocabulary groups support access to whole class teaching and creates opportunities for repetition and revision of vocabulary. Be aware that it does require close working with teachers to know what new words will be used or taught in lessons, so that you can plan your sessions around this. And remember, it's important to speak with your SENCO if you have any questions or concerns about running groups, and you can also talk to the school link therapist for more information, as well as refer back to previous training run by Barking and Dagenham. Thank you for joining us for learning new words. If you have any questions or need any further support, please get in touch with the school SENCO or link speech and language therapist. If you stay on the video, we have some examples of helpful resources for you to have a look at.